Hey guys, I'm back with another video. I have a Bath & Body Works haul of the new Fall 3 Thanksgiving stuff that is coming out today in stores. I believe the floor set was last night, and then today is the official launch of the Thanksgiving stuff. I believe this showed up online this weekend or this previous weekend, but then everything should be in stores right now, and we'll get right into it. I also have a few other knickknacks that I picked up like maybe a month ago that I just never hauled, so just put it in here with that. So yeah, I just haven't been buying a lot from BBW lately just because there hasn't been a whole lot of newness. It's a lot of repackages, but that's what's popular and what sells, so it is what it is. So if there's anything new, then I'll try to pop in and do reviews on them, and that's what we are here to do today. So yes. The first candle we have is from the Thanksgiving one. There are 3 new fragrances alongside many other repackages. There's the usual like leaves, fresh balsam, harvest gathering. It's in really pretty like textured, like kind of like a watercolor painting wraparound that's really pretty, but I'm just not quite ready for fresh balsam, and the other ones are repackages, so I didn't need any of those. There's the like critter like drawing illustration type one with spiced apple toddy, pumpkin pie, I believe, and sweet cinnamon pumpkin, but I did not see pumpkin pie any of the stores, so maybe that's either late or it's an online exclusive. There's a mountain teakwood as well, but that one I believe is also late because I haven't seen it in stores yet either. So then that leaves us with the 3 new ones that I really do want to try out, and so we have the first one, which is Fall Festival, and that's what that looks like right here. And does have a wraparound textured label right there, and the white barn lid right here. It says fresh pumpkin, spiced cinnamon, sweet maple, almond butter. It has 3 wicks and has the thick rope-like wicks, as you can see right there. Yeah, this one I'm probably the most underwhelmed by on cold. I was hoping for a little bit more with all the notes that were listed in there, but really all you get is that really like spicy red hot cinnamon that's similar to cinnamon clove buds, as well as spiced cardamom. Also kind of similar to cereal and cartoons as well, because that was just another variation of those like cinnamon stick fragrances. So there's a really red hot cinnamon in there, but there is something a little bit creamy, vanilla, and buttery that's toning down the cinnamon, so it's not as harsh as like their cinnamon clove buds or holiday or spice or those usual cinnamon stick fragrances. There is a little creamy butteriness chilling in the background that I get. It kind of vaguely reminds me of the Gather fragrance, but that's really cloyingly heavy and sweet and strong. That it's not quite as heavy as the Gather fragrances, but kind of in the similar like quintessential fall spiced fragrance family as the Gather fragrance that we've had before, and that's what that smells like. So yeah, it's pleasant enough. It's very mass appeal, very heavy on the cinnamon with a little bit of a creamy vanilla butter. This one I really have to wait to burn before I like write it off or have final judgment on it. So that was Fall Festival right there. I was hoping for something a little bit more intriguing or delicious based on the notes, but it's kind of just like a basic cinnamon fragrance at this point. The next one we have, which I was really excited to smell this one, it launched early for a wallflower sale. So I was kind of smelled the tester there, but obviously the 3-wick candle is what we really want to get the full experience. So we have spiced cranberry toffee right here with the beautiful ginkgo biloba tree leaves, as you can see there, which are known for their stunning foliage in the fall time. And it has a textured lid right here. We have rich toffee, fresh cranberries swirled with caramel. So right off the bat, it is not cranberry pumpkin from 2015. This one says fresh from the patch pumpkin blends with tart cranberry and fragrance that brings the best of fall into your home. This one's delicious. This one has like a warmth to it that the spiced cranberry toffee does not have. This is like a more heavy bakery fragrance. I almost think of like a cranberry pumpkin cobbler or cranberry pumpkin like crumble or like some kind of tart. Something that has like a crust on it. It kind of has like a pumpkin pecan waffles bakery base to it. There's a heavy warmth to it that I really enjoy with that juicy tart cranberry. And it's more quintessentially fall, and I really enjoy it. It is actually very, very, very similar to Harvest Leaves from Homeworks by Harry Slacken. These 2 fragrances are very similar. Spice, pumpkin, mandarin, cranberry, and apple puree. And that makes sense because I could even pick up a little bit of citrus in this, which this one also says mandarin in it, so it totally makes sense. Yeah, whoa. These are very, very similar. I think this one's a little bit more bakery than this one is, but very like 85 to 90% the same fragrance. So if you are jonesy for cranberry pumpkin, then Harvest Leaves does exist from Homeworks. Granted, it's out right now. I don't really know. But Yeah, and that was also, I believe, rumored to be repackaged as Cranberry Sugar Cookie in a Christmas test phase that did not go wide to all stores. I never smelled that version. But in any case, as it ties back to Spiced Cranberry Toffee, it does not tie back to it because it is not the same fragrance to me, in my opinion. This is really weird. Oh God, this totally reminds me of something. It's really sweet. Like there's a juiciness to it. It's like more like a very tart and sour, but sweet, like cranberry jam or cranberry juice note to it. Almost even smells like cranberry, like taffy. It's way more like candied sweet than I would have ever imagined a spiced cranberry toffee to be. I imagine like a warm cranberry with like a crackling like toffee, or warm caramel like drizzle, or like a brittle or something that had like maybe one of those what is it, those cranberry bliss bars that Starbucks puts out during the holiday time, like that mixed with like a little bit of like caramel in it. I was thinking more of like a crumbly cranberry experience, more similar to cranberry pumpkin, but it just totally isn't. It's this very tart, sweet. There's even like something slightly like alcoholic in the background of it that makes it like cranberry was like stewing in some liquid for like many hours. It's really weird. But yeah, I mean, it's not bad fragrance, but it's just not at all what I expected. It's, yeah, very tart, sweet, juicy, almost like a Sour Patch Kids kind of cranberry type of vibe to it. Something very candied, a little bit artificial. There's a little bit of spice, but it's not really like cinnamon spice, like a warm, hearty, like kitchen spice, not at all like that. It kind of reminds me of like a drink, honestly. That, like, this doesn't even really remind me of a fall fragrance either. This could be some kind of like cranberry Cosmo, a spritzer or something in the summertime, and I'd be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it smells like a cranberry drink. Yeah, I don't... Toffee and caramel. There's something making it very sweet and ooey gooey and candy-like, but it's not warm like a like salted caramel type of fragrance, or like a buttery popcorn, caramel, toffee, popcorn fragrance. Not at all like that. I'll have to burn this one to see how it does, but it's totally not what I expected on based on the notes. So that's Spiced Cranberry Toffee right there. The next one we have is Sweet Kettle Corn, and that's what that looks like, and that's what the wraparound is on that one. This one says, freshly popped kettle corn, creamy caramel sprinkled with sugar and sea salt. This one's my favorite. I really enjoy this one. Something about this just really reminds me of like 2012-13 era, like Slacken and like Golden Era BBW. Yeah, it really reminds me of that. I think this is totally a new fragrance though. It's not a repackage of like Summer Boardwalk or Sea Salt Maple Popcorn, which is like Summer Boardwalk minus the apple. And boy, those were so strong. But yeah, it's a totally different fragrance. It's not Summer Boardwalk, which I do have right here. Yeah, no, this one, you know, definitely has that apple in there and has the caramel that's a little bit more strong in there. This one's more strong on the straight up butter component. Like this smells exactly as the name would imply as sweet kettle corn. Like there's heaps of butter in here and it really smells like you're popping kettle corn or popcorn. And there's just maybe a hint of a sweet caramel in there that takes it away from being too... It's still very, very buttery, but it's not as like overly buttery and like grody as like Popcorn and Pine, which was a test fragrance that one year for holiday season. It is not this fragrance. This one was fresh popcorn kernels, warm butter, and white pine. Very similar fragrance family for sure, but this one has that weird pine note in there that always just never sat right with me. It just didn't, it just from a fragrance point of view, I just never figured like butter and pine should go together. And the butter and the popcorn on this was so heavy and greasy. It was just like very lard-like that this was just not pleasant at all in my book, that I never really cared for this. And I feel like this is kind of an improvement of maybe what they were trying to go with like a popcorn fragrance. There was also a toffee glazed popcorn from 2012. There was a test fragrance that failed. I was able to actually get my hands on that. That was 100% unscented. You couldn't smell anything on cold or on warm, so it's not that either. This is, yeah, it's scrumptious though. It really smells just like kettle corn with heaps of butter and then just enough of a salty caramel component in there that takes it away from being just straight up lard like the popcorn and pine candle was. So I'm happy about that. And there's just a very nostalgic like salty caramel, salted caramel, like 2012, 2011, 2013 era like BBW feel to it that I really enjoy. I actually got 2 of these. I'm burning one now. It's not as strong as I had hoped for, but it's only been going for like an hour, so I can't totally give a straight judgment on that. So that's the sweet kettle corn right here. This is definitely my favorite. I'm hoping this sort of picks up when it starts burning. So those were the 3 new fragrances. Oh, it also kind of reminds me slightly, but not exactly, of Salted Pretzel Milkshake right here. Because this one has that like, this one's distinctly more pretzel than popcorn, but a similar caramel plus salty plus crunchy like popcorn pretzel snack vibe. Definitely in both of these that I think if you like this one, you'll probably like sweet kettle corn. Very similar like sweet and salty fragrances. And I love salted pretzel milkshake, so I'm totally all about sweet kettle corn. So we'll see how that does. And I think that's it for the new candles. I had a few stragglers. I think there was it a Labor Day sale? And Basil Green Tea was being clearanced out. My sister had it going in her house, and it actually smelled quite nice, so I picked it up as like a 50% off thing with a coupon, and it brought it down to like $9 and some change or something. So Basil Green Tea right here, which is fresh picked herbs, Russian green tea, and a touch of lavender. Totally weird and strange on cold. Smells like cucumber salad. Like cucumber salad has like dill pickle in it. It definitely smells like that mixed with those herbs. It literally smells like there's a cucumber salad my mom makes that has like dill and some other herbs in it, and it kind of like smells pickled. It really does smell like that, with a little bit of like a green dirty vibe to it that's coming from the green tea. But when you go to burn it, while it still does retain those type of strange herbal crisp notes, there's a slightly like spa-like floral quality to it that comes through a little bit that I actually enjoy, and it's totally refreshing and totally different from anything else they've done before. And I just appreciate new and unique fragrances that don't smell like everything else that's out there, so that's why I picked it up. It is strong, but it sucks like no one's business. Oh my god, I keep trimming these and there's just like puffs and puffs of soot no matter what I do, that I can't ever get it to pull out properly because it's always sitting before it pulls out properly. But then when my sister was burning hers was at the mid-range point. I had already done it out by the mid-range point, so I'm like, oh. But yeah, so a little bit of a problematic burn, but I at least enjoy the uniqueness of this fragrance. That was Basil and Green Tea right there. We then have Fairytale. This was a while back too. I finally picked this one up, and that's what that looks like. This one is pomegranate nectar, fresh orange blossom, vanilla bean, and warm amber. This one, I'm very hot or cold with. Some days I like it and some days I don't. Some days it gives me headaches and some days I'm like, oh, I can kind of get into this. But I already talked about this in the body care when I first hauled it. Yeah, I'm just kind of all right with it. Somebody on social media said it was the same as the Libre fragrance by, oh God, I don't even know who the designer is. It is YSL, so it's a Libre YSL perfume. And somebody, I think on social media said that, and kudos to them because they are very, very similar. So yeah, kudos to you for figuring that out, whoever that was. But in any case, I actually did go to Sephora and I was like, you know what, let me try out and see if this Libre perfume is really the same as Fairytale. They're very, very, very similar. So I can definitely see that they were definitely inspired or dupe fragrances. I think the YSL Libre one's a little bit better. Obviously it's a more expensive, you know, like designer perfume, so to speak. That when you spray it, it's definitely a little bit more well balanced. There's a little bit more of like a floral softness to it. Whereas there's a strong plasticky pomegranate fragrance in the BBW version that is very strong. There's something like plasticky about this that I don't love, that the YSL Libre one like fixes that issue, but still very, very, very similar fragrances. And interestingly enough, I was saying when I first hauled the shower gel of this, I was like, I get heaps of lavender in the way that Ice Vanilla Woods has a very heavy lavender presence in it, mixed with a little bit of vanilla. And turns out the YSL Libre, one of the top notes is lavender. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So I definitely get a ton of lavender in this, with a little bit of a white, heavy floral that gives it like a mature vibe to it, and that's coming from the orange blossom. And then there is a slight tart fruit berry note that is coming from the pomegranate. In this, I think it's listed as maybe currant in the YSL Libre, but similar fragrances, pomegranate and currant, which is like a tart berry type of fragrance. So I get that. It's just that this one, the pomegranate nectar, is a little bit more plasticky and a little less pleasant than the YSL Libre counterpart. But very heavy on the lavender here too. It almost even has a slightly unisex men's cologne vibe to it in the way that that lavender Ice Vanilla Woods fragrance did. And even when I burned the candle, it does really remind me of the Ice Lavender Woods, that if you enjoyed that one, I think you'll enjoy this one. But this one has just a lot more like a floral, perfumey, slightly mature vibe to it that the Ice Vanilla Woods does not have, but still very similar fragrances. The thing with this that's good though is it's very, very, very strong, and if you like YSL Libre, like I don't believe there's a candle of YSL Libre out there, and it's an expensive perfume that if they did have a candle, it'd be like a single wick for like 70 or 80 bucks. So to be able to get a very close counterpart of a 3-wick candle that throws well and super strong for like $14 to $16 is pretty cool. Like if you're into YSL Libre and you want a designer smelling candle, then it's kind of cool that you can go to BBW and get one that throws very strong. Like I don't think even a single wick designer candle would throw as strongly as the BBW Fairytale does. So that's kind of neat. But yeah, very, very, very strong. I can only burn it for like 2 hours and then I get a headache and I'm done with it. The shower gel, it smells pretty much just like the shower gel too. I still enjoy the shower gel here and there, but sometimes I'm like, oh, this is a little bit too strong. So, but yeah, Fairytale right here. I think there's just a ton of marketing and labeling that is really selling this product or fragrance. So that's that. I did some buy online, pick up in store orders, and also some few to basically redeem the rewards. And so I did that. And so, in some of those, you have to do like a minimum purchase. So I did a spiced cranberry toffee wallflower, but this, of course, was before I smelled the candles, so I didn't know what it smelled like, but I'll try it out. My mom had this and said it smelled better than the candles, so we'll see. So that was just like a minimum order thing right here. It was like a $3.95 sale thing. I had a free $7.50 body care travel size item coupon, and there was really nothing in the store, and I really only use shower gels, so I was like, let me get the lavender vanilla sleep right here. So that's what I did with that. And then the reward that I redeemed was for Rupee, Apple, and Rosewood, which is the new, one of the 3 new body care fragrances that are coming out for this floor set. And that's what that looks like. There's White Pumpkin and Chai, which I believe was out last year. But that, I believe, is a repackage of pumpkin picking from when originally Sweater Weather came out, in that like square bottle. So I didn't need that because I still have pumpkin picking. There's a golden clementine and amber, which actually smelled really good and juicy. It's like a nice, slightly more sophisticated body care clementine or juicy citrus fragrance that I like, where it doesn't go in like a soda or a candy or like an artificial route, but just like a robust, juicy clementine fragrance that I actually kind of enjoy that. I wouldn't mind redeeming another reward if I ever get one for that. But then the one that I was most interested in, because it had the, I guess, a rosewood in there, even though I don't think rosewood actually has a rose in it, but it says peony in there, so I was like, you know what, it's got to be floral. So I actually really enjoy this one. I haven't used it in the shower yet because I just picked it up today, but when I sprayed it, there's a nice, beautiful floral, like a very pretty, powdery, feminine floral that's very similar to like a peony or rose fragrance that I'm really enjoying. And then it's juiced up with like a sweet and pleasant apple that gives it a nice sweet like pick-me-up and a slight crispness, but it's not too moldy or like a dewy like a Honeycrisp farm stand apple variety apple is. And so I really actually quite enjoy it. It's juicy. And there's even like a slight, I'm just getting like a slight grapefruit or citrus note that makes it a little bit bright too. But overall, very nice, pleasant, fruity floral that's appropriate for fall. So I actually quite enjoy that. So that's the ruby, apple, and rosewood right there. And then lastly, to round out this haul, we have a blueberry sugar pancakes. I picked this one up like probably beyond a month ago at this point. This one reads, sugared blueberries, fresh pancakes, caramel cream drizzle. Totally old news. There was a thing that was going on where they had the free shipping, no rush free shipping, with like no minimum order. So like you could order something just very small and get free shipping on it. It was like a window, a few hours in the morning for like 2 days as a test. And I guess they're not testing that anymore, but it was an amazing deal because you could redeem your rewards and get free shipping and like pay absolutely nothing. I think, oh no, you still have to put in a minimum order. So I think I put in a pocket back holder for my mom for like $1.95 or something, and then redeem my free reward for this. And that was a great deal because I didn't have to pay shipping for it. And this was online exclusive, so the only way you could do it is to do it online. So I was totally jazzed to be able to finally get this. And this one is just a very sweet, sweet blueberry. I don't really get a whole lot of pancakes. There isn't like a griddle, like bready pancake bakery note in there. It's just a really, really sweet blueberry that's like sort of kind of like been laced with like a little bit of like a maple syrup caramel type of vibe to it, but more so caramel because it's not overly mapley, but just a very, very sweet juiced up blueberry. There was that plain blueberry and strawberry fragrance they had before, and this is just like the sweeter, sweeter, sweeter variety of it. Very similar to Raspberry Jam Donut and St. Anne's Blueberry Shortbread. St. Anne's Blueberry Shortbread has a more dense bakery, like almost like a biscuity cookie note to it that is not present in this one. And Raspberry Jam Donut is a little bit more raspberry than it is blueberry, and that one also has a slight powdered sugar undertone to it that this does not. This is more like they stripped away all the bakery and just give us a really juicy, syrupy, sweet blueberry note and that's what you are left with. I still like it nonetheless. It's very juicy and awesome. If you like the raspberry jam donut or the Santa's blueberry shortbread or the plain blueberry, I think you'll really enjoy this because they're very, very similar fragrances, all of them. That I still like it. I wish there's a little bit more of a pancakes or a maple syrup note in there just to give it a little bit more of like a bakery juiciness for the fall time, but I'm not mad at it. It's kind of similar to the blueberry sugar candle as well that comes out during Christmas time. So that was that right there. And I believe that is it. Let me know if you have tried any of these out. I'm sure a lot of you guys have probably ordered them online, but I just finally got around to getting my hands on them, and so I'll try to burn them and review them and go from there. And I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.